There is a lot of fear-mongering around today's topic. Most of the individuals talking about today's topic are Instagram educated and have no formal education in human biology. Not that that's always a requirement, but this is very unfortunate because they mishandle something that is indeed impactful and is rather simple to address with your health. I can't tell you if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or for better or for worse. Almost everyone is familiar with something called hormone therapy or peptide therapy nowadays, which is maybe glucagon-like peptide 1, aka Ozempic, or TRT, or thyroid hormone replacement. These therapies and medications like them are surging in popularity. Not saying that's good or bad, simply an observation. The question no one seems to be asking, however, is why is this an issue? Or is it an issue at all? Did someone just make up a problem just to sell you a solution? Or is there something actually going on with our hormones? And if so, what the heck happened to where this was such a big issue all of a sudden? Well, we can look to history to find some answers. Back in the 1940s, middle-aged men in their 40s and 50s had double the testosterone levels that they would have today. Even women's levels nowadays are much lower than they were previously. We also know that fertility rates are going down. Young men's baseline strength is declining. A 2018 study found that right-hand grip strength amongst men aged 20 to 34 was down from 117 pounds of force in 1985 to now just 90 pounds of force. And at the same time, rates of male depression are skyrocketing. ADD and ADHD diagnoses are through the roof. So what's going on? Well, for starters, we are more sedentary. Our food is totally different now. We're all overweight and we're all vitamin deficient. These are the big rocks, the things that matter a ton, and they will never not matter. These are things that we talked about, though, extensively, but some of the more hidden reasons for hormonal changes specifically are right under our nose, and no one is talking about them or talking about them in the right context. What I'm referring to is something called hormone disruptors and toxins, also known as estrogenics. These are compounds that fit on the same receptors as hormones, but they don't do any of the work or communication. They dock at the port and they take up space, so our hormones cannot dock and do what they're supposed to do. So these estrogenics or hormone disruptors are really acting as hormone blockers. The bad part is you're probably not even aware that they're there, and they are all over the place. So much so that I bet there are 3 of them right now that you've been exposed to or you have since this morning. Use of plastic water bottles or Tupperware, it leaches plastics into your food and water, especially when you heat them up in the microwave. The water itself in those bottles is likely contaminated with chemicals, microplastics, and pharmaceuticals. Your food was probably sprayed with pesticides. So already, if you've ate or drank this morning, you're being exposed to these things. Fragrances like car air fresheners, candles, wall plugins, colognes, or perfumes fall into this category. Your shampoo and conditioners, your body wash and sunscreen, and oh my lord, sunscreen. Lotions and personal care products like makeup and skincare. When you fill your car up and you inhale some gasoline or diesel fumes, vehicle exhaust if you work around machinery, the pollution from the several chemical and power plants that surround us, these are everywhere. We're all constantly bathing, quite literally in this case, with hormone disruptors, and it's even worse for our kids. One study showed that out of all items geared towards kids in the grocery store, 810 items in total, 43% contain artificial colors which have never been investigated for their safety. And in fact, red dye 40 is the only one that has, and they found very clearly it is a known hormone disruptor and is correlated with hyperactivity. As far as our food goes, phytoestrogens that come from food are touted as something that is absolutely amazing, and they are. These are plant foods, but that is only in the right amount. Foods like flaxseed, sesame seed, soy protein can be extremely estrogenic. They contain upwards of 8,000 micrograms per 100 grams of phytoestrogens, in contrast to black beans, which contain phytoestrogen but have 9, not 8,000, per 100 grams. That's a 1,000 times difference. Imagine if you got a raise of 100,000 times on your paycheck. Smoking cannabis is extremely estrogenic. So bad news for potheads, you're crushing your hormone levels and turning yourself into girly men. But then again, maybe that's your thing. I don't judge. Finally, lavender, especially, essential oils, who would have thought, isolated compounds that are in teeny, tiny, small amounts in plants and nature put into ultra-concentrated solutions or oil, exposing yourself to tens of thousands times more of that compound than you likely ever would have in your entire life, might cause some health effects. There have been young babies that develop breast tissues because of daily exposure to lavender essential oils for calming. Every bit of plastic our food is stored in can present a potential problem. Even paper cups are coated with substances that falls under this category of estrogenic. Think about if a cup were paper. It wouldn't hold water, right? Your vinyl shower curtain that heats up when you bathe, your LVP flooring, all of it. Are you overwhelmed yet? There's no doubt that we are inundated with these things. But do they actually impact our health, or is this just another one of those things that seems big and scary because it's mysterious? Let's look at the places where you have estrogen receptors to see if this is something to be worried about. So here's a list. Prostate, breast, uterus, ovary, esophagus, skin, trachea, lung, liver, bladder, kidney, skeletal muscle, thyroid, pituitary glands, spleen, lymph node, tonsils, fat cells, macrophages, which are immune cells, monocytes, which are immune cells, dendrites, which are immune cells, T cells, which are immune cells, B cells, which are immune cells. P.S. If you're a real brainiac, you may be able to deduce that these things impact our immune system, which, by the way, the prevalence of autoimmunity is skyrocketing right now. Okay, so we know that they're affecting us, but how? And how can we fix this? So several ways that they might be affecting us. Number one is body fat gain. Number two, depression, sex hormone disruption, estradiol and testosterone, namely. Immune system dysfunction, blood clotting, and cancer and infertility have been linked. Then there's the downstream effects of those things, which honestly just end in you feeling bad, not feeling right, having low mood, and feeling somewhat apathetic all the time. So what do we do? Do we buy Stacy from Facebook's 7-day juice cleanses? Do you do that tea detox, aka poop your pants for 2 days because it's just a low-grade laxative? Or we can do what actually works, which is A, use stainless steel and glass. Buy organic when buying the Dirty Dozen foods, which I'll include information about below. But the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 are foods that have a lot of concern regarding pesticides and foods that don't, and would be a waste of money to buy organic because they don't get sprayed with them or don't need them very much. So don't eat plant-based products like soy protein or plant-based meat. Eat plants, not plant products. Throw out as much of your fragrances as you can. Definitely throw out the essential oils. Try to buy real wood furniture and products because the particle board furniture is pressed and sealed with formaldehyde, and it off-gases for anywhere from a month to a year, and we inhale that, and that is neurotoxic. I'll be putting my guide on hormone disruptors below when it is finished. And so if it is finished, it's there. And if it isn't, you will 100% get that in your email very soon when it is. However, apart from reducing your exposure, which is very important, which is the way to limit these impacts on your health, there's a way we can naturally detoxify. Out of the hundreds of thousands of chemicals known to man, we detoxify almost all of them via 2 ways: sweat and urine. Drink water and sweat. That's it. That's all you have to do. Now, there are a few considerations here. Plus, I have a free bonus offer for you at the end. So not everyone is a sweater. Personally, when I work out, I barely sweat. Not to mention most gyms, ours included, we keep it cool to keep you comfortable. Plus, most people avoid sweating like the plague, so even doing so outside is probably not likely. Certainly do that more, but if you'd like a very readily available way to detoxify, there is no better way than to use a sauna. Luckily for you, if you're local to us, you have one from your neighbor at the spa, and Heather has offered you a free sauna session to try it out. So all you have to do is show your little key tag. If you're local, she'll get you set up. And personally, I absolutely love sauna. There are a million benefits, and you will sleep like an absolute baby the night after. So make sure you take advantage of that offer. Finally, to wrap up, I want to share 2 things with you. First, very quickly, detoxification, it happens via 3 phases. And if any of those phases are missing, it creates free radicals which oxidize or basically rust your body from the inside out. And that is very, very bad for you long term. And every major juice cleanse detox supplement I see sold on Facebook has compounds from plant chemicals that block phase 3 detoxification. So they are garbage, and people selling them should really stop selling them. Second, and finally, we don't consider this one of the big rocks. Movement, resistance training, eating a whole food, low-calorie diet with lots of protein, drinking water, sleeping, de-stressing. Those are the things that you really need to focus on. They're never going to be replaced. These are impactful. They're clearly, these things are, though, or they're clearly making men infertile. They're causing all kinds of crazy issues, and they're often minimized. But it isn't just these things alone. It's a little bit of them. It's a little bit of GMO, a little bit of pesticide, a little bit of mold, a little bit of BPA. It's a little bit too much phytoestrogen. It's a little bit of toxins, a little bit of EMF. It's a little bit of 100 things that add up to us at the doctor's office being prescribed a medication for a symptom whose cause is our environment. So take a minute, throw out your plastic, buy glass and stainless steel, and make sure to claim that free sauna offer from our friend Heather at Serenity Spa on Main Street. In the meantime, we have one last tool that you can use apart from our hormone disruptor checklist, which you can find below. There's an app called Yuka, which if you want to go to the grocery store, you can check for your deodorants, for your all of your personal care products, and even some of your foods to see if it is contributing to this big problem.